Hi everyone, Miss Joyce here from the Shaler North Hills Library, back at Ready, Set, Read. Thank you for joining me, and let's get started. Let's get started with our song. Are we ready? Here we go. We wave and say hello. We wave and say hello. Hello to all my friends at reading time. We wave and say hello. We clap and say hello. We clap and say hello. All my friends at reading time. We clap and say hello. We snap and say hello. We snap and say hello. All my friends at reading time. We snap and say hello. Hey everyone. Hey, let's get started. The first thing, of course, I like to do is show you our easel and the things that we're going to do today. And I always say, making a list of what you plan to do makes you feel good. Helps us get things done, and it helps us feel organized. So here we go. I said welcome. Welcome to Ready, Set, Read. We sang a little song. The next thing we're going to do is chit-chat a little bit. We're going to practice printing. That will be fun. We're going to start to learn words today. We're going to read a story, and then maybe a quick tip for all those people out there that take good care of you. So as we take a look, I already said hello and welcome to Ready, Set, Read. So we can actually erase that from our board. So okie dokie, we already said welcome. We already sang our song, so I can erase that. Here comes the most, I think, important part of the day, and that is chit-chatting. And chit-chatting just means talking a little bit to each other. So I have a couple things I want to remind you of, and these are things we talked about before, and maybe a couple reminders, because sometimes I forget things, and it's okay to forget, but I'm always happy when someone reminds me of something that I forgot. So the first thing that I told you a couple of weeks ago that is so important is that you look at people's eyes when they're talking to you, and it sends those very important messages that I'm a good listener and that what you're telling me is important and I want to know. So those are good tips to make sure you're looking at someone's eyes when they're speaking to you. The other thing, of course, I wanted to tell you is that there are tools everywhere for learning. Everywhere we look could be a learning tool. Behind me, the alphabet is a learning tool. When you have little signs, these are learning tools. So there are learning tools wherever we are. If we see a sign on a street, or if we see a label on a box, or we can just recognize letters wherever we look. So look around you and use the tools around you to help you learn. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is, of course, this program is for anybody. It can be for someone going into kindergarten, or it can be for somebody that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even 10 years old. No matter how old you are, you can watch. Now, my new reminder is this, and this is an important one, and that is, if you didn't hear what somebody said, or you don't understand what somebody said, it is important that you ask questions. And it's okay to ask questions. And you can say, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Or could you say that one more time, please? Or I didn't quite understand that. Could you maybe tell me in a different way? And because when we ask questions, it really helps us learn. So never be afraid to ask a question. And a good teacher will answer your question. So I just want to remind everybody, ask questions, because when you get answers, it helps us know more about things. So thanks everyone. Those are the tips. And when we come back, we are going to start printing. So that's fun.
Hi-ho. Hey, what's going on? My name is lowercase b, okay? And I'm lowercase d, yes. Okay, and sometimes people confuse us. They do. Yeah, sometimes. But here's a good way to remember, okay? I'm lowercase b, okay? And I have a big belly. Take a look. Hey, can you move off of this for a sec? Yes, I will. Hold on. Okay, look. See, I have a big belly in the front, and belly starts with B, okay? All right, come on up now. Yes, and you see, now this might be a little silly, but I am lowercase d, and I am wearing a diaper. Yes, so you can remember my bump comes in the back. That's how you know I'm lettercase D for my diaper. And my bump comes in the front for my big belly. D diaper in the back. B bump in the front for belly. Bye. Later, dudes.
So here we are back at Ready, Set, Read. And one of the things that I know, because I was a kindergarten teacher, but also I have a lot of friends that are kindergarten teachers, one thing that they think would help us a lot when we get to kindergarten is being able to print your name using one uppercase letter and the rest lowercase letters, and to be able to use lines. So let's take a look at the board. So here I made the lines. It looks kind of like a road. Doesn't it look like a road that you might travel in a car or a bus? And so roads have lines on them because they try to keep us where we belong. And that's exactly what these printing lines are doing, trying to keep us where we belong. So here we have a top line, and we have a middle line that is dotted, and we have a red bottom line. Sometimes people call them top line, dotted line, base line. Sometimes just people call them top line, middle line, bottom line. So we're going to use this as a guide so that when we print, we're going to stay on the lines. Now I have right here a name tag, and this is my name. My name is Joyce. And as you can see, my name is on a little name tag. And the name tag, I'll put that right there. And the name tag, just like the lines up here, has a red line at the bottom. And that kind of means, stop. Don't go beyond that red line when you're printing. Sometimes you have to, because maybe a letter in your name dips below the red line. So here we go. Let's print my name on the lines up here. Now, everybody watching, you're all so important. You're important to the people that love you, and important to the people that take care of you, and important to your friends and to me. So everybody's name begins with a capital letter or an uppercase letter, because names are important. So I'm going to use the uppercase letter J to print my name. I'm going to start at the top blue line. I'm going to go past the dotted middle line. Oh, stop, Miss Joyce. There we go. The rest of my name and your name is going to be in lowercase letters. So the next letter of my name is O. J-O. There we go. And I started my letter O at the top. I went around, stopped at that red line, and brought it back up to the beginning. Y. Now the letter Y, go like this down to the red line, it has to go below that red line because some letters go below the red line or past the red line. There we go. See, it went past the red line. The next letter is C. C. There we go. And the last letter of my name is E. There we go. I got these at the dollar store, but you can make your very own at home. You can either make them with a pencil and a ruler, or maybe you can print them out on the computer. And as long as you're practicing your name using one uppercase letter and the rest lowercase letters, that will be wonderful. So remember, that bottom line is where we stop. The top line is where we begin. Unless they're lowercase, sometimes they begin at the middle line and sometimes they begin at the top line. So we're going to call this top line, middle line, base line, or top line, dotted line, base line. So this isn't exactly how it should look, but it's a lot like how it should look. So maybe you can practice your name at home. That would be wonderful. Terrific. Okie dokie. Now, the next thing we're going to do is talk about words. And I just love reading and I love learning. And so today we're going to talk about words. We're going to learn some words. So let me take my eraser and I'm going to erase my name and we're going to look at some words. So here we go, right when we come back. Hey everyone, we're back and we're going to talk about words. Now, when we first got together a couple of weeks ago, I said there are some words that we already know, that we can already read. And they are words that we see all the time, and we look at them over and over again, and we just memorize them. We know what they look like, and so we can read them without sounding them out, without really looking at the letters too very hard or sounding them out. We just look at the word and we know what it is. And the first word I said was the word Cheerios. Cheerios. And I said, this morning I ate a bowl of Cheerios for breakfast. Cheerios. So let's put this word up here because it's a word I think most of us know. So we'll put that up there. We don't have to say all the letters or sound the letters out. We just look at it and we know it. How about another one? Lego. Lego. My friend, her little boy, he loves his Lego blocks. Lego. Lego. So I'll put that up here. Now, I'm putting up a word next. I'm going to use a word, and this word is the word to. To. T-O. To. And this is going to be one of those words that you're just going to look at it, and you're going to know what it is, and you're going to know what it means. To. I drove my car to the library. To. The word to means kind of a going a particular direction. I'm going to the library. I'm going to pick up my pencil. So it means a kind of heading in a certain way or a certain direction. To. Now, sometimes when you get to kindergarten or first grade, the teacher might call this a sight word, or the teacher might call this a high frequency word, but it's a word that we should just look at and know. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll make a long list of all of the words that we are just going to look at and know. And the reason they're called sight words is that we're just going to use our eyes and just know the word. So this is the word to, T-O. Let's add it to words that we can look at and already know, because now we already know this word, to. To. There we go. And I have another word that is a sight word, or maybe it's called a high frequency word at your school or at your house. And this is the word my. M-Y. My. And the word my means it belongs to me. It belongs to me. Today, my shirt is black. Today, my shirt is black. So, my, something that belongs to me. M-Y. There we go. So I'm going to put this up here with my tape. So let's read together. This word is to. This word is my. To. T-O. My. M-Y. My. Belonging to me. So now it looks like we can add some words to the words that we might already know. Cheerio, Lego, to, my. That's terrific. I can use these words in a sentence. And when you hear me say them and you see me lift them up, you'll think, oh my gosh, I can read those words. Here we go. Listen to my sentence. Today, I am going to drive to my mom's house. Today, I'm going to drive to my mom's house. There we go. I use those words in a sentence, and I think now you understand what they mean because I used them in a sentence. So here are our two new high frequency or sight words. So we already have these, and we're going to make a list of them, a nice long list of all the words we know in the next couple of weeks. So that will be fantastic. Hey, now that we're sitting here, let's review the alphabet. This is fun. I have these nice little cards, but hey, you can make these at home with a piece of paper and a crayon or a magic marker. So what I thought we could do is I'll hold up the uppercase letter and I'll flip it over to the lowercase letter and we can say it together. Are we ready? Let's start with this letter. Remember, use the tools around you. Use the tools around you. So you can use the alphabet that is behind me, or you can use the alphabet that you have at home that you're using. So here we go. The letter, what letter is this? The letter Z, 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 lowercase, uppercase. Here we go, let me reach in. Are we ready? The letter M, M, uppercase, lowercase. try another one. The letter D. D. Here comes that lowercase d. Remember we practiced those last week? D. D. This time I'll show you the lowercase letter first, and then we'll flip it over and look for the uppercase letter. Are we ready? This is a tricky one. Q. Is it a Q? Let's flip it over. There we go. So it's kind of fun if you put the uppercase letter on one side and the lowercase letter on the other, because we did say they were partners, uppercase and lowercase. E. E. Uppercase, lowercase. Let's try one more. Okay, lowercase. Lowercase letter G. G. There we go. G. G. So at your house, maybe you can make your own cards. Uppercase on one side, lowercase on the other, and it can be a kind of a game. So I'm so proud of you. So far, so good. How about if the next thing we do is read a story? Hi everyone, we're back and I'm getting ready to read a story. But remember, there are 3 ways to read a story. Read the pictures, read the words either by yourself or with a friend or someone that takes good care of you, and retell the story. So on my board I made a hand, and the hand will remind us how to retell a story. And on the thumb it says who. So we'll ask ourselves, who was in the story? Where did the story happen? What happened in the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story? Also, let's listen to the story and see if when I'm reading we can hear and maybe see or sight words my and to. My and to. So here we go. Let's get started. I think some of you know this story, and it is called If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Now, I like this book because it is called a circle book or a circular story. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you draw a circle, here I'm going to draw a circle. I start at one spot and I go around and around and around and around and around and around and around, and I end at the same spot where I started. Let me draw it on the board. When I draw a circle, I'm going to start at one spot, and I'm going to go around and around and around and around and around, and I'm going to stop at the same place I started. And that's what happens in this book. It's funny. It kind of starts and ends with the same thing. So let's read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and we'll talk about why it's called a circular story. So here we go. It's written by Laura Numeroff, and the illustrator is Felicia Bond. So here we go. Ooh, let me get to the right page here. If you give a mouse a cookie, here's the little mouse, and the little boy is offering him a cookie. He's going to ask for a glass of milk. And when you give him the milk, probably ask you for a straw. When he's finished, he'll ask for a napkin. And then he'll want two, one of our sight words, two. Then he'll want to look in a mirror. To make sure he doesn't have a milk mustache. When he looks into the mirror, he might see his hair needs a trim. So he'll probably ask for a pair of nail scissors. And when he's finished giving himself a trim, he'll want a broom to sweep up. Two, sweep up. And he'll start sweeping. He might get carried away and sweep every room in the house. He may end up washing the floors as well. And when he's done, he'll probably want to take a nap. And you'll have to fix up a little box for him with a blanket and a pillow. He'll crawl in and make himself comfortable and fluff the pillow a few times. He'll probably ask you to read him a story. And so you'll read to him from one of your books, and he'll ask to see the pictures. When he looks at the pictures, he'll get so excited that he'll want to draw one of his very own with paper and crayons. He'll draw a picture. I love this page. I love this page because it's a blank piece of paper, and when I turn the page, he will have completed his picture. When his picture is finished, he'll want to sign his name too. Oh, he'll want to sign with a pen. And then he'll want to hang his picture on your refrigerator, which means he'll need Scotch tape. And he'll hang up his drawing and stand back to look at it. Looking at the refrigerator will remind him that he's thirsty. So he'll ask for a glass of milk. And chances are, if he asks for a glass of milk, he's going to want a cookie to go with it. So, how is it that that was a circular story? Well, it started with a mouse who was happy to have a cookie. So it started with a mouse and a cookie and a glass of milk. And you know what? It ended with a mouse and a cookie and a glass of milk. So that's why it's called a circular story. It began with a glass of milk and a mouse and a cookie. And all of these things happened in the story. He trimmed his hair and he drew a picture and he had to clean up. But at the very end, it was about a mouse and a cookie and a glass of milk. So that's why it's called a circular story. You know, it was so nice. When we were listening to that, I saw and I heard the word two. T-O-2. I heard that word in the story. So I think that's really, really cool. I heard the word and saw the word T-O in the story. So that was good. Let's retell the story. First of all, who was in the story? Who was in the story? That's right, there was a mouse in the story and the little boy. So yes, that's who was in the story. Where did the story happen? Where did the story happen? The story happened at the little boy's house. The entire story happened at his house. How about what happened in the beginning? Well, we know in the beginning that the little boy offered him a cookie and he wanted a glass, and the mouse wanted a glass of milk. That's what happened in the beginning. And in the middle of this story, what are some of the things that happened in the middle of the story? Well, a lot of things happened in the middle of the story, and that little mouse was always asking the little boy to get him things. Why, he wanted a straw to go with his milk, and he wanted to trim his hair, and he also felt that he needed to clean up after he trimmed his hair, and he cleaned up so well, he even started washing the floor. And then he wanted to, take a little rest. And he found a nice cozy little spot and he drew a picture, and that's what happened in the middle of the story. And at the end of the story, he wanted a cookie and a glass of milk to go with it. So remember, when you read a story, you can read it 3 ways: pictures, words, and retelling the story. And this was a circle story. This happened to be a circle story, which meant that it began and it ended in the same way. And we heard and saw the word to, our sight word, T-O, to, our sight word in the story. So that was really terrific. So thanks so much. That was really wonderful listening. So how about when we come back, I will just... Oh, wait, we didn't sing our song. Let's sing our song. We'll sing our song, and then I will talk to the people that take good care of you really quickly. So let's sing our song. We wave and say goodbye. We wave and say goodbye. Goodbye to all my reading friends. We wave and say goodbye. We clap and say goodbye. We clap and say goodbye. Goodbye to all my reading friends. We clap and say goodbye. We snap and say goodbye. We snap and say goodbye. Goodbye to all my reading friends. We snap and say goodbye. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hey, I just wanted to quickly give you a couple ideas. It might really help in your family too. What we're trying to do is create readers, right? And one of the things that we were talking about earlier is how important it is to read to your children. And it's wonderful. I mean, it definitely makes a difference in test scores. It definitely makes a difference in success when it comes to reading and comprehension. So, and wouldn't it be wonderful if every night all of us had this plenty of time to sit in this comfy, easy chair and cozy up and read a story. But sometimes that doesn't happen because I'm a parent and I know that doesn't happen. So what I was thinking and what I was reading about is that you can bundle reading aloud with something else. And while your child's in the bathtub, take that chance and read a quick story. Or if your child is a slow reader, maybe a slow eater, maybe you could take that chance and read a quick story. The other thing that we did today was we introduced some sight words or high frequency words. And these are the 2 words we're going to practice this week. I'll add about 2 for the next couple of weeks. So at least you have an idea of what the sight words are. And once you get them under your belt, it'll be a really feel good, and your child will really feel confident about that. And like today when I read the story, the word to kept coming up. So what you can do is make this little word window, and all it is a piece of paper, and I just cut a little hole in the middle of the paper, and you can isolate that word or the words that we're learning and find them when you're reading a book with your child, or have your child hold the word window and isolate the word when you're reading together. So there's an idea. And the other thing, we talked about asking questions and how important it is to ask questions. And one of the things I found that when I was a teacher is so often the kids didn't ask questions, and I'd say, anybody have any questions? And I can say that, or a teacher can say that over and over. But unless somebody feels confident in asking questions, it's kind of hard to ask a question. So encourage questions. Sometimes I didn't have the answers, especially for my own kids, but asking questions is a wonderful skill. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring a mask. And of course, you know this, all of us know it. Wear the mask every day. Wear it a couple of minutes, increase the time in 15-minute intervals, because chances are if we, attend in-person school, that your child will be wearing it probably 7 hours a day. So I'm going to put my mask on and wave goodbye, but thank you so much. Much appreciated, everybody. Look forward to next week for Ready, Set, Read. Bye.